Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 14964 Southwest 165th Avenue here in Sherwood. We're located just to the right of the front doorway and out in front of the patio here. You've got two cleanouts. The cleanout closest to the front door, they're both the same size too. The one closest to the front door is your sewer line. The one furthest is your storm system. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We are zeroed out here at the base of the cleanout. And if I didn't mention it already, we are dropping into 3-inch ABS pipe. Camera right now is upside down. That's why the water is overhead. If you ever lose track of the video or forget, one of the easy tricks in knowing which cleanout is which, take a rock or something hard and smack the top of the cap, and you will hear the sound echo through the downspouts, or the sewer line will not do that if you ever need to try and figure out which is which. So we're transitioning here over to 4-inch 3034 PVC. So far we're looking good here. It's very common, I get asked this a lot on new construction. Some of the joints in the PVC pipe, you will see kind of a dark coloration at them. I get asked from time to time if it's dirt or if the joint's bad or something. It's a very common thing to see on new construction. When they put these pipes together, they put what's called a duck butter. It's a grease substance that's used to lube the pipe ends up. So when they shove them into the coupler, they slam home and the pipe ends butt up against each other. That's pretty common to see a little bit of that left over at the joints. And or the pipe ends will pick up a little bit of dirt sometimes and they just drop them into the ground to put them together. So anyway, there's the main lateral connection at about 53 feet. We're going to let the line drain out here for just a few minutes before pulling back in. We'll get a better look at things as we come back. Alright, located the camera head. Line terminates on Southwest 165th. If you go and stand out in the road and face the front of the house, and that's how I describe things in general. Now, it looks like we have the dishwasher draining off here. We're going to give that just a moment to drain. Alright, so in the flow line there, it kind of looks like some concrete got down the line. I'm not sure what else that would be, and it's a relatively common thing to see in new construction. At the end of the line like that, not terribly concerning, as there's really hardly anywhere to go beyond that. But we'll see. If it's throughout the line enough, I may recommend some jetting to get it off the pipe bottom. Concrete, once it gets into a line, kind of similar to grease, it doesn't have to be super tall to necessarily affect flow to an extent. Just having that simply a rougher textured flow line can be enough to stop things up. But if that's all that's in the line there, I'm not terribly concerned about it. There was one other spot in the line here I noticed that I thought I may have seen some of that under the water here. As we come back in, we'll see. I think we just actually went past that spot right there, so that joint was looking fine. There was a tiny little bit sitting just on the other side of the pipe joint, but not enough there to do any kind of effect of functionality, flow. The other thing that it is, other than concrete, sometimes it's grout, tile grout. Gets poured down line sometimes. A little bit of water still trickling through the pipe there. So right here it's a little bit thicker. It's also on the turn. And And there is a little bit of standing water right here too. The standing water on its own is, I mean, this thing is, I can hardly call this a belly. I'm going to notate it on the report just to simply put it on there, and that has more to do with just explaining that away when you go to sell the home, in case you get some person who's never seen a sewer line before and wants to make that into something that it isn't. Anyway, that's a long ways off repair-worthy even from a new construction standpoint. This is a little more concerning here. It's hard to say right now, being that the line hasn't been used much, how much that'll affect the flow. Anytime you get any kind of anything situated on a turn, turns already slow things down. It's just a natural pinch point in the sewer line. And then you combine that with what looks like you've got either grout or concrete here. It also looks like some plastic burrs might be in the mix too. It's the combination of those two things together there. That's a spot where I'm going to recommend cleaning to see if a jet can remove as much of that stuff as possible. It's at least on a decent downward trajectory at that point in the line. My camera lights this spot up here so dang good. It's hard to tell right here why the flow line looks that way. My light is reflecting off it so badly. I can't tell if that's another little spot of concrete right there. I'm going to do a little bit of review of that in better lighting. I think it just maybe the way that the light's reflecting off of possibly pipe glue or something like that in the flow line. When I go over the top of it, there's no real edge there. That just looks kind of funky. In fact, I'm almost wondering if this is where the concrete may have got down the line. There almost looks like there's a ledge there, or a lip. I'm going to take a look at this video in better lighting to see if I can discern what that is there. I can't tell if it's an optical illusion because of the way the light's reflecting off that, or if there's something in the flow line. And secondary cleanouts and test Y connections are by far the most likely spot in a line to... That's usually where concrete and stuff like that gets down lines, if it doesn't originate out of a sink or something like that. And there's even some back in here too. Or at least it appears to be that, anyway. Anyway, I'll try and take another look at that in better lighting. I'm having a really hard time getting a clear view of that spot there. Anyway, watch for the report. I may recommend some cleaning on the line in that location. I mean, I am in general just because of the turn. And it's, again, hard to say. If it doesn't happen now, I would at the very least recommend a rescope just before the warranty is up. After the line's had a chance to sit and be used for a little while, sometimes you get a better portrayal of how that is affecting things. Sometimes you get some stuff in the line that just simply does not cause flow problems. There's just not enough of it. Yeah, there is something going on there. There's a lip. What I can't tell right now is if you've got like an offset joint and a bunch of junk ran into it right in front of it, there looks like there's a chunk of something sticking up out of the flow line right here. The problem is my camera just, it goes right past it, doesn't get a super great straight-on shot of it. But there is definitely something sitting in the line right here. Alright, just to I got a quick locate on that. I'm getting around almost 6 feet deep. They're about 5'10" to 6 feet deep. And right now I'm not jumping straight to recommending a repair on it. I think drain cleaning should be done first to see if that can be removed. But at least show where this is at here with my camera. I put my locate wand right on the ground where the spot's at. We're situated just barely to the right of the edge of the driveway. Just the line dives down to cross underneath it. And essentially straight out from the front door. Where my locate one's at there. In fact, the direction it's pointing is also the way that the line's running, but I'm going to do a little bit of reviewing of the video to see what if I can discern what that is. But in general, I'm recommending a jet go down the line, and or a combination of things. Sometimes you need a flex shaft, something that really has a good abrasive to beat some of that stuff up, break it up, and then blast it out of the pipe. The spot there at 13 feet certainly appears to be the thing jutting up highest in the flow line. The rest of the stuff isn't sticking up quite as much, but the spot there on the turn right just before the transition is a little concerning, just with the rough texture that's there, and that spot is a bit thicker. Anyway, otherwise, rest of the line here outside, a couple areas with what looks like some kind of substance in the line, all appears to be in good shape and has good flow. But a couple spots in here I'd like to see cleaned up so it doesn't potentially cause buildup and blockages.